Hey, everybody, Brian Davis here with Danny Davis and Cedric Golden. We are at Belmont Hall inside Roll Memorial Stadium, where today Texas had a pretty big day in the Sarkisian experience. Today, signing 26 new players on the first day of early signing day for the 2022 recruiting class. And I got to say, guys, and you guys would probably agree with this, this is a big day for Sark. It's a big day for the football program. They needed to reload at key positions, and it appears they did. 14 offensive and defensive linemen, including two new quarterbacks, Quinn Ewers and Malik Murphy. Both of those guys are going to enroll in January. And I don't know, happy days are here again, Sid. What do can we get
Hey,
to a bowl now, maybe, or no?
you gotta say it. Size matters. It matters. We can't play Pee Wee football anymore at UT. They had to get big and mean and brawny. He said we gotta be more SEC like, and they're bringing in some beef. The question is, according to the recruiting ratings, this is filet and porterhouse. But will they play like sirloin when it's all said and done? Got to coach them up, Daniel. Got to coach them up.
Yeah, it's great that there's first five-star offensive lineman since 2013, I believe. A couple of 4 stars in that group. And that's all good, but at some point they actually got to play football here. And this Texas fans, fans of pretty much every program across the country have seen 4 and 5 stars not pan out. So it's great that they're on campus. Now we got to see what Kyle Flood can do as a coach with these guys. If all works out according to plan. Defensive line too, obviously with Bo Davis. This is a great haul. This is a great day. This is a day that Texas fans are going to look back on and be like, okay, this is where it all started. This is a day that they're like, okay, we suffered through that 5-7 disaster, but it was all worth it because it brought it here. So we'll see. This may not happen this next season. It's really hard for freshmen to contribute as true freshmen, although I think most would assume Kelvin Banks would be the outlier in that discussion, but we'll have to see. But this was a great start. You can't complain for at least today. Today was a day that there's not going to be a lot of complaining, but we'll have to see down the road what exactly today meant.
Which brings up a good question to me, and I want to dive right into this whole youth movement thing. Folks can go online and read all these individual bios of who all these guys are, but my question to both of you: if you're Steve Sarkisian, do you just immediately go all in with a youth movement and roll with a younger, potentially younger two deep starting next year? I mean, we know that there's not a whole bunch of older guys that they would want to keep and play over all their new signees. But said this feels like a moment where get all those young guys on the field, because with the transfer portal and who knows anymore, you assemble the team for now, get them out there and playing right now.
They're not at a point in this program where they can sit guys and redshirt a lot of guys like Nick Saban does, or like Dabo does, or like Ryan Day is doing. They're not at that point. They're at a point right now where it's all hands on deck, and the ship is sinking, and they just brought in some guys with some hammers, some nails, and some plywood, and they're going to get this thing back afloat. And they're young, but like Darrell Royal said, even puppies bite. If they bite you as a puppy, then they'll eventually bite you as a dog. And these puppies got to play. These $50,000 a year linemen, I don't know if that NIL was going to come out last year. I don't think last year's crew was going to be earning $50K a year. I don't know about all of that, but these guys have incentive up front to win. I think that Sark has sold them on your plan. You're good enough. He told us guys, he said, look, I am not against playing younger players. I want to play the best players that give me a chance to win. Now you got to have a mix, Danny. You got to have a mix in that portal with 1,000 kids in it. Oh my God, that's better than Carvana. They've got 1,000 kids in the portal. They're going to be able to plug in a few holes, because they've got guys in the portal too. That's going to give them some relief. So I'm looking forward to see what the mix is between these experienced players who play for a 5-7 team and these 4 and 5 stars who are coming in, hopefully make a change in the direction of this program.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I don't want to say you take this entire class and they need to be the team that's starting next September against Louisiana Monroe. But you give them the opportunity to go out and prove themselves. There are some vets on this team coming back. You do have a Keandre Coburn, you do have a DeMarvion Overshown, you do have a Deshaun Jameson, but obviously Bijan is not sitting next year. But hey, if Quinn Ewers is better than Casey Thompson, start him. If one of these offensive linemen is better than one of these veteran offensive linemen, start him. If I don't think anyone on that 5 and 7 team, aside from number 5 in the backfield, can come in next year and say I deserve to be the starter on this team. And if one of these young pups is better, they deserve a chance to kind of show what they can do. But I don't think you should just pencil a true freshman in just for the sake of building for the future, because you could hurt their development that way too. So, if they're better and ready to go, I don't see a problem with starting them, but I also don't think it would hurt them. If some of these guys need a little bit of development, but luckily at a position like quarterback or some of these other positions, Texas has depth now. They don't have to depend on a true freshman, but if that true freshman's ready to go, there's no problem with rolling them out there.
Well, they have depth at the moment. We'll see if all that depth stays. I tend to think that Casey Thompson definitely stays. Hudson Card, to me, is the one who's going to be on the fence now. That's just my reading of the tea leaves. But let's get into quarterback, because that's what obviously a lot of people are interested in. At the end of the regular season, guys, you remember we talked about the quarterback, but the quarterback situation of who are they going to get? Well, now we know they have Quinn Ewers, the Ohio State transfer. The bleach blonde mullet. Get your mullet wigs now. Said he's going to start making mullets and sell them on 6th Street, to make some easy money, non-NIL money, mind you. But what do you guys make of the quarterback situation now? Casey Thompson, Hudson Card, Quinn Ewers, Malik Murphy. Those are basically going to be the top 4 guys that are going to be in the mix currently. Both of those young quarterbacks are going to be early enrollees. So theoretically, if no one leaves, all 4 will go through spring ball fighting for the job.
I think I got to give Casey Thompson credit because he gutted it out last year. Oklahoma, that's the middle of the season, and he hurt his thumb there and obviously was hampered and diminished because of the thumb on his throwing hand. But he gutted it out, and you can't tell me that the locker room didn't notice that how tough Casey Thompson was, because he could have easily try to throw a football with a healthy thumb is hard enough, but a bad thumb, horrible. So I give him props for that, gutting it out. It's going to be tough. If Quinn Ewers is as good as they think he is, that's going to be an even bigger battle than the one between Casey and Hudson. I'm not speaking for Hudson, but it wouldn't shock me if he took his leave and parted ways. I don't think Casey's going anywhere because he's a junior. I mean, he's got what does he have, 1 or 2 years left, Daniel? Casey.
2. Oh, 1.
He's got 1. So yeah. So I don't think he's going anywhere, but I really think that Hudson might consider leaving. Quinn Ewers is here to stay, I believe. And we'll see if he's as good as advertised, because right now he's getting more attention for NIL and his transfer than he is for anything he's done on the field in the last year.
Yeah, I forget with all the math, but I mean, Casey came in 2018 and redshirted that year. So, I mean, whatever that means he has left, who knows? But I mean, the quarterback battle, like I'm almost kind of tired of trying to project, because who knows? I mean, no one really thought Quinn Ewers is going to be a 3rd-string quarterback this year at Ohio State, and that's just kind of what happened because CJ kind of went and had a incredible year. I don't think many of us thought Casey Thompson was going to come and be like the full-time entrenched guy by the end of the season, and that happened here. Who knows? Maybe Malik Murphy comes on the campus and just turns out to be the second coming of whoever you want to compare him to. So, I think most people would expect Quinn Ewers to be the guy just because of the hype. But there's a reason there's spring ball. There's a reason there's practice. I can guarantee you that Casey Thompson is probably saw this news the past couple weeks and spent the last week in a bunker studying film, trying to be like, all right, you're going to try to pushed me out, and I doubt that Malik Murphy signed with Texas if he thought that he was signing to be a a fifth string guy. So we'll see what happens with those guys. We'll see what happens with Hudson Card. Charles Wright is obviously still on scholarship. We'll see if he sticks around and tries to insert himself in that conversation. But it'll be fun. It's going to give us a lot of stuff to write about this spring. So I appreciate that. I appreciate those clicks. But it's going to be interesting. Probably the biggest headline going into this season.
Definitely. Finally, one big topic that I want to address here that needs to be addressed is name, image, and likeness. I mean, look, it would be very naive to think that the Clark Field Collective and the Horns with Hearts initiative, where they basically admitted they would give every scholarship offensive lineman $50,000 annually if they come to UT. It's very naive to think that didn't play a role in some of these linemen, their decision making. Kelvin Banks, right on down the list. I'm not saying that they're coming here for $50,000 because Texas obviously has a lot to offer, right? But if we're talking two schools are even, one's going to give you 50 grand and the other one isn't, I think I know which way I would be leaning on that fence. Is this going to change the dynamics of the sport? Is this going to change the dynamics of the locker room? And maybe most importantly, are boosters, by doing this, are they going to crush what it is they claim to love?
Yes, 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 yes. It's already changed. And when money is these guys were already, a lot of these guys are already getting paid under the table for the last 50 or 60 years. Let's keep it real. We're not waving any banners here. We know that boosters pay players to come and play. But now the NIL has changed that dynamic to where they can actually be upfront about it. And there's still some players getting money under the table. So it's changed the dynamic to where the haves, with all of their better facilities, their bigger budgets, their TV money, their swanky 100,000 seat stadium, their luxury suites, they have those advantages. Plus now they have another advantage. They offer a better experience and money on top of that. So for the haves like Texas and Michigan and Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State, Notre Dame, etc., there's no excuse. And it raises the bar for people like Steve Sarkisian, who just landed a banner class. But he landed a banner class with all the advantages that come along with playing for Texas, living in Austin, Texas. So what that does is it raises the bar, it raises expectations, and there's a level of anticipation now, because how can you not believe that the Longhorns are going to be great in 2 or 3 years with what just happened?
I know Danny will push back against that.
Danny had him at 11 wins, I believe.
He did.
So Danny ain't pushing back crap today. Don't you push, Glasses.
I have no comment about my treat.
There you go.
I think this NIL stuff is for the better. I don't think my thoughts about that have wavered. If an offensive lineman wants to come to Texas for $50,000, good on him. I mean, some of these kids, it's not life-changing money, but it's definitely money that'll help out back home and help their families. Some may come from backgrounds where they don't need that $50,000, but still nice to have $50,000. I don't buy so much into the sense that this is going to hurt locker rooms. If anything, welcome to the real world, kids. I mean, you're going to go to jobs where you don't make as much money. The three of us do not make the exact same amount of money, but that doesn't mean that one of us is allowed to throw a temper tantrum because someone else is making more than money. We still have jobs to do, and there's people in the locker room are going to have jobs to do too. I will. The one thing I will say is, I do hope that this initiative with the offensive linemen, I think all of us, rightfully so, can kind of roll our eyes a little bit about the charity initiative part of it. I mean, let's be real. We don't all have to be naive about it, but I do hope that some good does come out of it. I talked to the Rob Blair, who's one of the guys kind of running it, and he said, let us, we'll put our money where our mouth is, and I hope that's the case, and I hope that some good does come out of an initiative like that. But I'm not going to be someone who, gets all upset because offensive linemen are making $50,000. Good on the kids, good on, the people that want to pay them. It's, the whole Gene Chizik thing earlier this week, and a lot of these journalists who have made their living off of these players not getting paid while we get paid and we're able to go pay our mortgages and all that stuff. It's ridiculous, and I'm not going to be part of this push against these athletes making money. Good on them, go do your thing. I hope some good can come out of it for others, but if it doesn't, at the end of the day, it's your name, it's your image, it's your likeness. Do with it what you will. I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to get upset about stuff about my paycheck, and I'm not going to worry about all y'all.
Kids, get that money, get it. For 98% of you are not going to play in the pros. So if
We're all
there's
going
a
pro
way,
in something other than sports. Said
exactly. So if there's a way for you to get paid and take advantage of the platform you have here at the University of Texas and other big schools like it, by all means. And I'm talking to the Bijan Robinsons, the Logan Egglestons, the Skylar Fields, the Rory Harmons. Get money. Tristan Stevens, go get paid. Because one day you're not going to be at Texas. And one day you're going to be in the regular working world. And the last thing you want to do is look back and go, man, I had some opportunities to pad my pockets while I was at that money printing factory in Austin, and I didn't take advantage. So
that's a good point.
No regrets. Get the money. Some of these guys are going to make millions a year, and they're going to laugh back at that 50,000 and go, man, that's a vacation for me now. But others are going to go, man, I really should have taken advantage. I needed to do a better job of opening up some doors for myself. So if you can get paid, get paid.
If Bijan though wants to cater one of these Monday availabilities with his Raising Cane's connections, I'm not gonna complain about that. I need that NIL connection right there.
Hashtag Raising Cane's. My biggest issue with all the NIL really is not the players getting the money. I don't have a problem with that at all. If someone, I'm with Danny. I'm 100% with Danny. If somebody wants to pay Captain Kerstetter $50,000 to have another year at Texas, then go for it. Knock yourself out. My issue is what happens when maybe the return on investment isn't what these boosters had hoped, right? Maybe the wins aren't as prevalent as they had hoped, and all of a sudden the money dries up. I mean, that's going to be how you effectively get rid of a head coach, essentially, is that you basically pull back the financial reins, and you're not paying to get these big time recruits in here. That to me is going to hasten a coach's exit. Granted, the coach is still going to leave with a fat wallet because that's just how it works for them too. Everybody gets paid in this racket, so the players, no one's going to be crying for the coach who gets a double-digit $1 million exit package like they give out at Texas. But I don't know. I just think that when you're introducing, you touched on this earlier, when you introduce money into this kind of element, no one really knows where it's going to go. Hopefully it's for the better. But my odds are, and my stomach feeling is that some of it won't be good.
I think like part of that though is part of the process. I mean, if you're an investor's kind of maybe the wrong word, but if you're deciding to pay a player X amount of dollars for in an NIL deal and it doesn't work out, I mean, part of that's on you for not making the proper investment.
Absolutely.
Part of it's on the player, the athlete taking the money to, make sure their social media is up to date and make sure that they're, that there is a return on investment so they, get invested in next year. I mean, it's all part of the process. I mean, a lot of people have probably learned over this last year with, their various deals that some things didn't work out and there's some, areas that can improve. But, once again, I'm not going to feel sorry because, someone invested $50,000 in the offensive lineman and it didn't pan out. I mean, that's more on you for making a poor investment. I'm not going to, cry, too much for you. Once again, good on the players, I guess, for, if you can get some money off of a poor investment, congratulations.
Said, any final thoughts here before we wrap this one up?
Banner Day, Christmas came early at Texas. Sarky Claus rolling in a burnt orange sleigh, delivering 4- and 5-star love to the Longhorn Nation. Let's see if it equates to a bowl game in 2023 or maybe January of 2024. I'm glass half full today. I'm
How
full
much,
of Christmas cheer. I'm loving life right now.
How much money do I have to pay to these players to make sure that Texas doesn't go back to the Alamo Bowl? 'Cause that's the only thing I care. I'll set up an NIL
You
deal.
cannot be dipping into Chuck Davis's college fund. You will go to that Alamo Bowl if summoned, and you will like
You'll
it.
like it.
Oh. Now this is the anti-Alamo Bowl NIL deal. Let's get that started.
Well, let's just hope that Texas has enough talent to get to the Liberty Bowl next year. Liberty or Cheez-It Bowl.
Wow. Don't end it on that.
Okay, let's not end it on that. No,
Liberty,
no.
Liberty, Liberty,
Let's not end
Liberty.
it on that either. Let's not end it on that either. This is probably going to be the last video we do before Christmas, and so everybody have a good holiday as well. The three of us are about to go try to find out what Kirk makes, because we if we all don't get paid the same, we got to find out what Bowles makes, because we got to get up to his level as well. But that's all for today. Texas had a big day. If you're a Texas fan, you should be excited about what happened today. But for everything else, you can read on hook'em.com and statesman.com. And as you guys know, that's where you find all our content. And for Danny and Cedric, I am Brian, and we will see you next time.